Yo, JD here, Tyrolinus, and as you can see, we are finally back with AOR after a 2-week break. Wasn't the case I decided not to make any videos, we just had a 2-week break due to the Mexican and American Grand Prix, and we're at Sochi here today for round 4? Am I going to say 4? I think it is 4, unless I'm just a complete idiot, but I believe it's 4, and we've got a wet qualifying here today. And as you can see, the setup we put on, we decided to put on 2 5 wings and 8 ballast, and I really feel that was a mistake. For this race I didn't do as much preparation as I did for the other races, and the reason for that really is because I don't know, I was just really busy and been quite busy recently. I'm doing quite a few other things, and this track is, as I mentioned in my career mode, it's not really a favourite track of mine. I just didn't really feel like doing it, but I did a little bit of practice with obviously the career mode, and a little bit of practice as well, obviously for this. And this is the first time I did it in the wet, in the equal cars, and I wasn't really feeling too confident. I felt the setup I had was just a little bit too oversteery, a little bit too twitchy through the corners. And with this track you can gain a lot of time through corner cutting, so in these corners here you can put almost a whole car length on the inside of that curb there. So we weren't really even maximising of what we could do, obviously being clean of course, but I don't think we really maximised it. Just felt this lap was really cautious for here. My dry qualifying seemed to be pretty good. We did a 32, a 1 off 32, which is quite a good time, but the consistency in the race, I just didn't really feel consistent at all, and if I could have gone back I would have done a little bit more preparation, and definitely I think I would have changed the setup to maybe an equal front and rear wing, so probably would have gone 4-4 with a 7 ballast, probably something I would have done, because it would have been interesting to see what kind of speeds we could have done with that setup in this qualifying, but this I just didn't really feel that comfortable. But nonetheless, it's a pretty tidy lap, pretty clean lap. Coming across the line, and we've come P5 in this qualifying, which is not bad at all, but I felt there was definitely a lot more on the table considering the wet conditions are something I feel I'm really strong in. But good qualifying here. The flying Finn looks like he was struggling as well, 47.2, so kind of crucial for our championship that we can maybe take some points off him. But we've got 5 lights now, and away we go for this Grand Prix here, AOR round 4. And for this, as I said, I wouldn't have great expectations coming into this race, but if we could somehow beat Finn in this race, then I would take that all day. So coming into this first corner, 3 abreast for the leaders coming here, so we're going to be really clean. There's a little bit of contact around the outside, managed to keep it on the track, banging side pods with RG Matiz for here. We've actually made up 1 position now to P4, so again, I really didn't want to be in this situation, but we have no choice. But we're going to go around the outside, leaving some room on the inside, praying at Jason saw me, which luckily he did, so a really good race car from him. Surprise Merz actually defending, as ESR Stone has still managed to maintain a lead, so a great pole position from him in the wet. And that is us into 3rd place. We're in a podium position from 5th, and this was a perfect start really. I wasn't really that aggressive because I was really cautious. I just didn't want to get any wing damage or anything at all. So P3 from P5 after the tightness of that first couple of corners was a perfect start, and we're ahead of our championship rival, the Flying Finn, as well. But we've got his brother at this point who's right behind us, putting us under a little bit of pressure, but we managed to just deter him from trying to make a move there. But I don't know what position he's in at the moment, but right now I was thinking to myself, I wish I just did a bit more preparation, just a bit more laps and fine-tuning the set around here, because I wasn't feeling confident at this point in my driving. I compared to tracks where I'm pushing all the time, like at Bahrain, China, where I was pushing flat out to the maximum and doing seriously good pace, I wasn't really feel I was on that level around here where I knew where the limit of where to push was, or how late I could really brake, or how early I could really go on the throttle. I was really kind of guessing each time, and I just didn't feel as dialed in as I was at other tracks. But we've really got to put that out of our minds now, and I was thinking you just got to just adapt to this as quick as possible and just get the best result you can. If you can stay with these leaders here and potentially finish on a podium, I think would be a really good result for us around here, because this is definitely not one of my favourite tracks in terms of pace as well. It's relatively poor one. So if we can keep in this position and beat our championship rival, the Flying Finn, then that would be a fantastic result for me around here, because we've got Spain coming up next, and that's probably my best track on the game in terms of pace and enjoyment. I really love that track. So, but right now we've got his brother Alonso right on our gearbox at the moment. It looks like if he's getting any dirty air, it's not really affecting him at all. But we've got good straight line speed. Luckily, the one thing we do have with this setup is good straight line speed with that 2.5 wing. But he's going to go round the outside. We're going to give him some room on the outside, clipping that apex nicely and leaving a little bit of room on the entry, leaving just enough for a car length, but he can't make the move. He can't get the move done, and that's us maintaining position. So again, this is not really what I wanted at this point, because I really wanted to settle in as ESR Stone has actually hit the wall, and now surprise matter, we almost hit, we've gone into the back of him, but luckily there's no damage as well. So coming off this, now we're in the squabble, and again, I really didn't want this, because I really wanted a few laps of no pressure to really just get into the rhythm of this race, but we don't have that option at the moment. We've got to just adapt to this, and now we've got some, look at the straight line speed, we've got really good straight line speed, and we're going to go down the inside of ESR Stone. We're braking really late, but they've both gone off the track there. We had to cut the track on the inside just to avoid contact at that point, but we've gone into second place, and ESR Stone with damage. I know how bad that actually is, so I wouldn't be surprised if he started falling down the field. A great shame for him, because he was doing a really good drive at that point. But now we've got Surprise Mert ahead of us, who I know is really good around here from seeing his previous, I think he did a league race recently around here, and he was very, very quick. So I know if we can just follow him and maybe use him as a DRS point to try and keep Alonso from overtaking us, then that'd be good. So I was hoping at this point that he would really get on it, and we could actually use him to potentially pull away from the group behind us. It looks like it's us three, and there's maybe a second or so back there's another chasing group, and I have no idea where the Flying Finn at this point. He could, all I know, he could be in fourth place. So I was really hoping we could push on, but it looks like Surprise Mer's actually gone in deep. So again, this is just not what we want, because I really wanted him to really stretch us, if that makes any sense, to really try and push us. But Alonso's going down the inside, rubbing wheels, but we're going to give it back to him as well. So double treatment there, just about borderline fair. He goes down the inside, we managed to hold the corner, and again, that's critical that we keep ahead of him, because if we could keep ahead of him, he's another one who's, I'm not sure where he is in the championship, but I know he's very, very quick, so we can take some points off him. But I know we need to stay with this lead group. We cannot fall back into the clutches of the group behind, because then we could potentially lose some positions there. So we're going to go try and keep the Surprise Mert as much as possible. But as I said, with this setup, it just feels a little bit too twitchy for me. It's good in a straight line, but I feel we needed more aero through the corners. You can see we've gone in deep here, so we're just losing our braking spot. As Alonso now, this gives him a really good opportunity to go down inside. We're braking, letting him have the corner, but go for the switchback and managing to retake that second position. But this has allowed Surprise Mert to just get a little bit of a gap, but I think we've just about kept him within DRS. So our pace is good enough to just about keep up with the leader, and we've still extended the gap behind us. So I think Matiz has joined it, as Surprise Mert has actually pitted along with Alonso, and now we've got RG Matiz behind us, and we've managed to pull away from the group behind. So luckily our pace is good enough in that aspect to pull away from the group behind. But now we're probably going to be pitting this next lap, because we didn't do in race practice, I think we only went 5 laps into the Grand Prix. I knew it was a one stop from seeing previous race results and the tyre wear. I knew it was going to be a one stop, but I wasn't sure what lap to actually pit on. So we've gone in this lap, the lap after Alonso and Surprise Mert. I have no one really behind us, so I was really hoping that we weren't going to get held up. But coming into here now, let's see what kind of pit stop we get. So normally, as I said, it's normally sub 3 seconds is a good pit stop. So we've got 2.6, but we've been held again. We've been held for a second or so, and our car's decided to brake as well. So I'd say we probably lost maybe a second and a half or second to 2 seconds maybe in that pit stop. So not great, but that's what you have when you're a mid-table team. You're going to have the risk of that actually happening to you. As Alonso's, you can see he's got quite a fairly big undercut on us. So that's quite a big one of 2 or so seconds. As now we're coming under attack from Surprise Mode, had to go off the track. But luckily we've managed to stay ahead of him. I think he had to change his wing maybe for damage or anything, or maybe he got held in the pits as well. But now we've got Alonso ahead of us, who really is the race leader. but now we've got RG Matiz is going to come out the pits, as we'll be able to see in the minimap. So looking at this here, and I know how fast he is, in my opinion he's one of the fastest people on this game, so this is kind of good for us in a way. If we can stay with him and use him to maybe get up to the backup of Alonso, then this would be working out quite well, and using him as a DRS protection from Surprise Mert behind us. But now come out just behind Matiz, but managing to stay in this DRS, and I felt I was getting into the rhythm a bit more in this race now. I felt I was definitely finding my feet, getting a little bit more consistent, and starting to get up to that level where I'm really pushing the car each corner rather than trying to guess where to brake or anything like that. But coming out of here now, someone's had a little bit of damage as we go overtake all-rounder, so it looks like he's going to go in the pits, but we're managing to stay with Matiz fairly nicely, and at this point our lap times are doing quite well, so 36.8, and we did a 37.2 that lap, so it's not too bad, but we've still got a reasonable amount of fuel left, and with this DRS and the straight line speed we've got with this setup, which is really good, hopefully we can stay with Matiz, but we've just got to keep it up in the corners. But that's why I feel my car just feels a little bit too oversteery, and just I would have elected to definitely gone with a different wing strategy for this race. But moving on to lap 14 now, still within the DRS on Matiz, and we're starting to maybe close in a little bit on Alonso as well, as he's managed to overtake, I think that's someone on a different strategy, so that's Eggy Simon, who's on he started on the super soft, so have to navigate past him, but we've got to get past him quickly because I don't really want to lose touch with Matiz, as I think Sonic Alonso is getting a little bit of traffic ahead of us as well. But we've still got Surprise Mert right behind us. He just seems to be glued to our car this race, which again, I didn't have a lap where I had the only lap where I didn't have any pressure from behind or anything was my in lap for the pits. So coming onto here now, getting past Simon, who looks like he's really just pulling over, so he realises he's not really in this battle because he's going to have to stop again, as I think Matiz's teammate Cairo Lockdown has actually let him pass. So a nice little bit of team orders there, which Stu did for me in China. So now it's my turn to really face that, and hopefully we can get past him as soon as possible. But we've gone out the DRS zone of Matiz now because of having to overtake that Eggy Simon, and now we just got to try and navigate past him as much as possible. But for this race, I could see long term third position is really going to be what we're fighting for this race. We just don't have really the confidence to, as I said, just get to that level where I know we can do it, but we just around here we just can't at this point. So third position is going to be the maximum we're going to do today, and trying to get a good switch back on him there. But you never know, there might be having some penalties ahead of us. We've only picked up 2 warnings so far this race, so not any penalties, and I know it's very easy to get a penalty around here. It's probably one of the easiest tracks to get a penalty, so if we could maybe stay within 3 seconds of Matiz, then that could maybe give us something at the end of the race. But I know by his pace and the fresher tyres he's got as well, it's going to be very hard to actually stay with him. But we've just got to think about Surprise Mert behind us now, and that's all really that we can think about for the rest of this race, as I think there's quite a big gap to the group behind, or a fairly big gap, which I think that is Finn now in 5th place in this race. So if we can finish ahead of him and get on the podium, 3 podiums out of 4 races, where we were quite unlucky at Bahrain last time out as well, I think that'll be a really good strong start to the season, because you definitely can't win the championship in one race, but you can definitely lose it in one race, which I definitely know that is the case. So coming through here, managed to navigate that really nicely, can gain a lot of time through that corner. But coming up through here now, and lap 22, getting quite a sluggish exit as Surprise Mert is right behind us now. But with this slipstream and with the 2 wing we've got, we should hopefully just about stay. But he looks like he's closing ever so slightly, but we're going to just defend half down the inside. Only defend when we really have to, because we just don't want to lose that much time. And skipping on to end of lap 23 now. Let's see, he's quite close again, so let's see if he's going to have another opportunity to overtake us going into turn 2. But again, this is the good thing about our setup, is we've got very good straight line speed, and he's probably using a little bit lower aero than us, but it's annoying because through the corners he's able to stay with us really easy. But coming onto this now, and again you can see how much speed he's gaining through here, and a completely flat out corner for this, braking just on the shadow there, and not really attacking the apexes around here as much as I'd like looking back at this. But you can see he's getting really close, but still not really able to actually overtake us. And again, pretty much a carbon copy of what we saw just a few seconds ago. Really on the back of our gearbox for this now. And again, let's try and get a really good exit off here. Just a little bit of a late apex, so just not perfect at all going through here, but he gets a really good run coming off here, so we've got to defend on the inside, slow it down on the apex just to make sure he doesn't get that cut back, which we managed to do. And now I think we're going to stay on board for the end of the race now. It was just crucial that we maximise as much points as possible over Finn, and I'd be really, really annoyed if we didn't get a podium in this race, because we've driven a really good defensive drive, and just having not really felt at my best in this race, I think third place would have been a really good damage limitation for this track especially. So consider we're moving on to some really good tracks for me coming up. I think Spain definitely being one of them, and Monaco is obviously not going to be a great track, but the tracks after that, like Silverstone, Hungary, Spa, and Austria, they're going to be very good tracks for me. So if we can do something around here and actually take some points off the leader, the championship leader, then that would be a really great result, as surprise mode is gets a really good exit off here as well. So he's got some really good traction there, not being affected by a dirty air it seems, or we're just that slow through the corners of this setup. It's just not working today. I think we've made the right choice in setup on the previous races, the previous three, but in this one I just didn't feel it was a good choice for this, and that's all down to me. I should have spent a little bit more time preparing for this, but as you can see, preparing definitely gives you good results. But we're still in for a good result here, which again I was really surprised with, and I was really happy at this point. If we could just hold them off to the end of this lap, I would have been really, really happy here. So really determined to not let him pass, getting a good exit off here. We've still got a bit of fuel left, so just saving our fuel for that middle straight, because that's where we're most prone to be coming under attack. But again, getting some good exits here, so now all we're really focusing on is just getting a good apex speed. These two corners, so that corner and this corner coming up, you can gain a lot of time by cutting and stuff through here. But this race we've been really, really clean, and we only still, as I said, we only got 2 warnings, so if we cut again now we'll get a penalty. So I was really, really cautious not to get a penalty on this last lap. We can see we've got a nice buffer behind him now, so it looks like he's maybe running a little bit low on fuel, going back down to standard, spotting the breaking point for this. But we go in a little bit deep, so not getting a perfect apex here, and got a couple corners to go, but he seems to have a really good slingshot effect coming off this next corner, so it's really important. Short into 4th, but we feel like he get a good exit, but he's got an insane exit coming up here, so go into the middle of the track. He doesn't really try too hard, but it looks like we try to defend the inside just in case he goes for it, but he decides to back out last minute, coming across the line, and we've managed to come just about in P3 for this Grand Prix. And I can tell you I was really, really happy with that, to be honest. I felt if we prepared a bit better and for a better setup, we could have done a lot more in qualifying. I wasn't really too happy with that. The lap was clean and didn't really look that bad, but I knew we could definitely have pushed it more with a different approach to it. But good game to the guys. Well done to Matiz winning his first race in AOR, so congratulations to him. Good race from Sonic, good wheel-to-wheel battling earlier on. But P3 was, I feel, definitely the best we could do today. But really good damage limitation and taking some points off Finn, because he's actually coming home in 4th because Surprise actually had a penalty, which is maybe the reason why he wasn't trying so hard to actually overtake us. But good racing from him, really good pressure. And that was a good race, really. Good damage limitation as we move on to Spain. And the championship lead is, I think it's 13 points behind Finn now in 4 races. I think that's pretty good. So thank you for the support racing my channel. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Setups will be coming up this week along with career mode, so hopefully you enjoy that. Thank you so much, and I will catch you next time. Cheers.